Hi everyone, welcome to senseFly Academy. This recording has slightly been modified due to technical issues. François Gervais, our geospatial manager, will introduce you to the senseFly GeoBase integration in the new release of eMotion 3.
All right, just a bit of history. I wanted to show that because it's adding GPS to photogrammetry is something that is more than 20 years old. And actually my very first job at 20 years ago was to put a GPS reference that you can see here on this little graph, the so-called build GPS system 200 with an analog camera, the RC30. So it's a long story. It's history. I mean, it's quite obvious that it was needed to have a GPS reference station, or GNSS reference station as it is called now, with our system. And yes, now we have it. Why do we need it? Because without precise GNSS, I mean, your drone, your eBee Plus drone, is not better than your smartphone, your sport watch, or your hobby drone. So what you want is really to make your drone, to make your mapping, to make your mission 100 times more accurate. And this factor 100 is quite impressive, but it's absolutely what you have. I mean, if you compare in any situation, you can go from a few meters to a few centimeters in accuracy. So really a factor 100. And a question that we have many times, is RTK better than PPK or PPK better than RTK? There is no difference, honestly. It's something you can keep in mind. There's no difference. Because of the K, because of the kinematic part, if you do it in real time or in post-processing, you will have more or less the same result, not more or less, I mean precisely the same result, and you will have a sigma of 10 millimeters plus 1 or 2 ppm. So the further you are from your base station, is it virtual or is it real, the less accurate you will be in the end. But the factor 100 between your standalone drone and your RTK PPK drone is really this amazing factor 100, going from few meters to a few centimeters. All right. And by the way, because it's a question that comes quite often. If you are absolutely accurate, you are relatively accurate as well. So if you do volume calculation, if you do monitoring of construction site, for example, then if you are absolutely accurate, then all your relative information will be accurate as well. So there's no discussion. Oh, is relative good enough? No, I mean, let's do it right, and let's do absolute accuracy immediately. So this is what we get here, and you will be in this few centimeters accuracy everywhere and always. RTK, PPK modes, this is really important for the discussion now, because this is where we are today. We talk a lot about VRS, and it's quite complex. We talk about cores. It's not always available. So what we are talking about today is really your own base station, your own senseFly GeoBase. And you are at the bottom of this diagram here, and you will be able to do RTK, so in real time, or PPK in post-processing with your base station. Just a quick reminder, virtual reference station, it's great, but it's complex because you have a lot of connection. I don't want to go in too many details. It just, so you have this slide available later for your own use, but having it virtual is great, but it's complex, and sometimes it doesn't work. And you can do RTK, PPK, of course, with virtual. If you are using cores, it's good. It's good for PPK only, and you need a network around you that you don't always have. So your real friend from today is your own base station, and this is good for known and unknown position. We will see the difference in a few minutes, and it works really nicely in known and unknown. And then, since you have your base station near you, and you can see the connections here, the typical typical graph for Bluetooth connection or for a wireless connection, in this case a Bluetooth connection. Your base station is near you, and you have this nice connection here, and then you're drawn in the radius of 0 to 1, maybe 2 kilometers if you are doing extended visual line of sight or beyond visual line of sight. Here again, a summary that I call the world of possibilities, just the typical situation that you will encounter in Europe, in Americas, and in Africa. Don't take it too personally or too geographically, just to give an idea, okay, what happens if you have a dense network of base station, if you have a loose networks, or if you have a very loose network. Again, it just as information, just because you will have it later as a documentation, I put it here. We can come back to that during the question part after this, first introduction to senseFly GeoBase. The typical situation is, okay, VRS is not available, so you will use your GeoBase to prepare your RTK or PPK or PPK mission. All right, there are a few steps that I explained with the text on the left and with a nice graph on the right, and we will see it in practice. In practice, what you really get. First, this is a nice illustration of a few days ago here in the region. You can recognize a nice Swiss landscape with a base station working in the field. The user manual is available since, if I'm not wrong, it was released yesterday, if I'm not wrong, just for this webinar. It has been proofread, and there were a lot of different versions, but if you go on my senseFly today, you have the link to this user manual. We try to keep it as simple as possible and as practical as possible, and you have all the information needed to go in the field. All right, so this is the base station, but since it's a webinar and we want to use all the technology around, I will switch to a little video, to a little webcam situation. So let me check if it works. All right. Webcam all right? Good. So you can see, I will take a bit of distance here. So this is the box. Oops. All right, sorry. This is the box that you will get as a GeoBase. So what you have inside? So it's a ruggedized box, really nice. You can see the size of my hand with a little handle. So this is quite nice. I'm just wondering if I can do it a little bit bigger. How big is it on your screen? Okay, it's small. Okay, so let's do it. Each person can do it bigger. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so we can see. All right, let's go. So this is this ruggedized box, and you have everything inside. So you have the antenna itself. You have the little reminder to go on my senseFly to get the user manual. So you have the base station itself. Nothing to say right now. We will discuss a little bit the interface, which is pretty simple in a few minutes. You get 4 batteries. It's actually 2 sets of batteries. So it means that 2 batteries is 1 set, and it's hot swappable batteries. So it means that you have to check all the correct characteristics. But you will be able to hot swap your batteries during the mission if needed. There is a pack of 2 in the base station. It means that it will switch from one to the other automatically, and then you can recharge if you know that your mission will last even longer. You can recharge for the next 2, for example, and swap 1 batteries and then the next one. So you have your 4 batteries on top, and then you open the box. this way. And you have all the accessories that are needed. So you have the charger, you have the cigarette, the lighted charger for the car. You have normal cable, AC cable, so AC cable here, DC cable there, but a charger for 4 batteries, and the USB to 9-pin connector, to the LEMO 9-pin connector that will be used if you need to do a wired connection to your laptop. This will be, honestly, it is a little bit the exception because Bluetooth is working so well that so far myself I use most of the time, really most of the time, the Bluetooth connection, which makes life much easier. Enough cable, enough cable. So you have everything ready in this little box. And now let's see a little bit more about the GeoBase itself. So as mentioned, you have the 2 battery slots that are here. Actually, I already prepared 1 battery, so I can leave it. Sorry, it's a bit difficult with one-handed, but it's fine. Okay, so I close it. So I don't need 2 batteries. I don't need 2 batteries at the same time. Just 1 is enough. And what I will do is just start it. So 1 click, and the battery will the base station will start. It will be slightly difficult to see, but you will have a green light flashing here that will just say that you are recording. Recording is automatic, so you are ready at a few seconds after you turn it on. Your log file that will be used for PPK later is already recorded. So there's no risk that you forget to start recording or whatever. Then the other thing that you can see is the Bluetooth is blinking. It means it's ready to be paired with your laptop. And we will do that together in a few seconds. And third light is the battery light, and it says it's on. It's using it. And the other one is empty because I left the slot empty. If I bring a new battery, I can put it in the second slot, and it will swap as soon as the first one is empty. So 2 slots for hot swappable batteries. Then there's one thing that will never turn on. It's the little ready position because we are in the training room, and there will be no fix, no GPS, no GNSS constellation available. So it will remain like this forever. However, I have a second base station that is on the roof, and I will link it to this real base station in Bluetooth very soon. All right, so maybe I do it. So you have the overview. So it's extremely simple. It's well defined, well described. There's some trouble to do the focus. Okay, it's well described in the user manual. It's really 1 click, then login automatic. Battery level very simply indicated, hot swappable batteries, and Bluetooth ready ready to be paired. All right. Okay, let's leave it for a while. I turn it this way. I turn the cam off and go back to the example. So we are in the field, and what you see is again the 4 lights, because in this case the constellation, the GNSS constellation is sufficient, and sorry, and you see the Bluetooth saying, okay, it's paired, it's paired, it's connecting with the laptop. It is positioned, so you have the solid red here. It's logging, and the battery is fine. Actually, this one looks off. It's actually blinking, just that the picture was taken when it was off. It's turning on off. But when it's blinking, it means that there is a battery, but it's not in use. But you know that there is one, but it's not in use. So this one is in use, and this one is not in use, because it's blinking. Sorry, you have to imagine that it's blinking. All right. So now let's connect by Bluetooth. Connecting by cable, I think it will be quite obvious. You have the cable, you have the, sorry, you have the cable, the 9-pin cable, and you just put it in the port provided. It's more interesting to see the Bluetooth. So you add Bluetooth device only once, and it's what we will do now, and you will see here a senseFly GeoBase coming. You define your RTK source, and it will be the senseFly GeoBase BT for Bluetooth. You set it on known or unknown point. Both are possible. And then you just check that the RTK correction are streaming. And that's it. So let's do it together. I turn it off. Oops, for a few seconds. So presentation off. So let's go to my devices. So I will add a device. Okay, so let's add a device, and so now, there will be a few things showing on the screen, and you see among all the different devices, I have my senseFly GeoBase Bluetooth that is ready. So let's add it, connecting to device. So I'm not a technology expert, but it's the normal Bluetooth. It's quick. It's asking for a pairing code that is the very usual 1, 2, 3, 4. I think most of the system use this code. And you just click next. You see that can you confirm? You see that it's installing. The device is installing. No. Yeah. Okay. So you can see on bottom left, installing device driver software. It seems to be the device has been successfully added to your computer, to this computer, blah, blah. I think we are all set. So we have this little, the new device. If you want to be sure, or you can always check in the properties and see it has been added as COM number 33, just for information. We don't need this information at all. And we only have to do it once. So now, I do it for the first time, and then every time I come with my laptop and my GeoBase, it will pair automatically as soon as I turn on the GeoBase. All right, so now I can start eMotion 3. By the way, you have to start eMotion 3, the latest version that has been released today, and it's the 3.4. I don't want to say something wrong. It's the 3.40 RC2 that is part of the release candidate program that started today. So if you are a release candidate user, so you are this early adopter or early user, you should have been in contact with Martin today, or it will be done very soon, because you will get access to this version, and you will be able to use it as a preview. And then the target date for the release, the general release for this 3.40 is on the 29th of November. Just you know, yeah. All right. So here I just started eMotion, and as mentioned before, okay, I have to go to eMotion. I prepare here a little mission. Nothing special. It's something around here. You will see why in a few seconds. I will connect an eBee Plus in simulation. I think so far nothing new for no one here. And
checks completed.
You could hear the little welcome message. And takeoff is not possible for the good reason that it's an activated eBee Plus, and I have to define the RTK source. All right, let's go to the 6th tab and define it. And if I go there, I have two GeoBase, because and it just that the 31 was a reminder from the previous installation. So I have my GeoBase 33 here that is completely set up here automatically. So forget about this one. It's completely set up here. It's recognized as a senseFly GeoBase. So it's nothing to do here. It's just to check it. And then I go to my list, and I select my GeoBase Bluetooth. Let's select it. The question is, as usual, am I on the unknown point, which is the standard situation, or am I on a known reference point? So let's go first with the unknown point. I open my base drone data stream, and the good news is I have RTK correction that are in format 3, RTCM3.x and GPS and GLONASS, and my system is at this location. So there is, as mentioned before, the base station. You could see that it wasn't able to get the full GNSS constellation. Here it's a base station that is on the roof, and I'm just linked with this Bluetooth through the roof of the building. So you can see it's quite efficient. And we had some experiences with bad weather, or cold weather, for example, where we stay with the computer inside a vehicle or inside the car, and the base station is outside, maybe 15 meters away, and it's still all good. You have your Bluetooth. So Bluetooth is honestly much more comfortable and handy than the cable. But the cable is always good because you cannot trust 100% on Bluetooth. There is always a situation where Bluetooth is not good. All right, I have my situation here, and I just mentioned the known reference point. You just open it, and you could see here that what was measured was this approximate coordinate. And if I select now, I say I'm on my particular point here, and now I'm streaming. The stream is not very different, but I'm streaming from this precise location. So what I do is I'm able to do RTK with on known reference point. It means, as you know, that my images will be immediately geotagged accurately, so I don't have to go through FDM. I know that my mission will be even faster than normal. So that's it, okay. And I have this little summary here. I'm on the known point. My reference point is my so-called roof. I have my RTCM outputs, GPS GLONASS, okay, and I'm streaming with this coordinate as reference point. And you have the proof, or you have the illustration of that. You can see the little base station that is slightly flying above the digital elevation model, because we are about probably 30 meters above ground. It's on the roof and not on the ground. But if I go in 2D view, it's absolutely correct. I'm sitting here in this building, and I'm connecting to the antenna that is just outside above me through the roof. All right, so here I'm fully ready. Now I'm ready for takeoff, and I will be able to do a nice RTK mission with fixed. And you can see, because the distance to in my simulation, I'm if I put I'm something like 100 meters away from my base station, so I have a nice expected accuracy of centimeter or even sub-centimeter in this case. So everything perfect, ready to go, and that's it. So you see the setup. I tried really to make it from scratch, and it's you pair your base station once, only for the first time. The pairing is really easy, and then nothing to do here. You have automatically in your list a new base station called senseFly GeoBase BT for Bluetooth, and you are ready to select it here. So extremely simple in this case. Good. This is for the flight preparation. What happened during the flight? Nothing different. What happened after the flight? So let's have a look here. Let's come back to the presentation. Sorry. Oops. Sorry for the... Okay, so we are somewhere... Sorry for that. So we were in the field, my base station nicely streaming and logging. I insist on that. It's streaming in Bluetooth, and it's logging it's logging locally and it's logging on the computer at the same time. This is important for the next step. You will see. Okay, so we did it already. So unknown point, you have seen it. Known point, you have seen it as well. No need for FDM. If you're on the known point, you can go directly. Good. FDM back from the flight. So you have now your drone flight log, the BB3, as usual. Nothing different here. And it contains the drone raw data as usual. I mean, it has been like this for the last 13 months, so no difference. You have the eMotion flight log in local that is now different. It's slightly bigger because it contains the GeoBase raw data if it was connected by Bluetooth or cable for RTK mode. So if you see here, when you automatically, if you use the little calendar and you say I flew today and I use this computer to process it, automatically it will find the BB or the eMBB3 that contain the GeoBase raw data. Then, if the GeoBase was not connected during the flight, for some reason you want to do a pure PPK, you can still collect the SBF file by connecting the GeoBase after the flight. And this is one reason of the 9-pin cable, the USB 9-pin cable. You can still, after the flight, go and grab the corresponding SBF file with the raw data. So not being connecting during the flight doesn't mean that you're stuck. You can still edit. So you have a complete backup between what is on the GeoBase itself and what is on the computer on your ground control station. So like with the drone, you have it's recorded on the drone and on the computer. Here it's the same on the GeoBase and on the computer. So no risk of missing something after that. RTK PPK, if you're RTK on the known position, nothing to do as mentioned before. You can go through the FDM to check the statistics, but a reminder, if you wait RTK on the known position, you can already go, the image is already geotagged and you can go straight to your processing software like Pix4D without any subsequent post-processing in FDM. So this is the ideal or the easiest situation. Then if you did RTK on the unknown position, you have three options. You can enter the true position because you get it from an external source. It could be a surveying because it's a cadastre point or whatever, or you can use something new is the PPP, and we will see this precise position processing will be explained in a few minutes at the end of this presentation. So it's one possibility. You just give the accurate the true position, and it will just adjust your coordinate, and you geotag, and you are back to your normal situation. Second possibility is the 2B2 RTK post-process the base station to correct your geotag. And here, what is great, what is different from what you had before, it says, oh, I already have my GeoBase here it's automatic. The SBF file is automatically here because it is in the log file. It's automatically available. You just need to provide a reference station on a known point. As usual, it could be a course, it could be a VRS, it could be another GNSS, reference station set on a known point. You do your connection, click on next, and you have your processing, and you see the effect of processing. You had your before the flight or during the flight, what was used before processing, after processing, the difference, and you can geotag again your images, and you are all set. Third possibilities is if your RTK is not satisfactory, or what's the so-called fallback, or you wanted to do a real PPK, You can, the third possibility, you can process drone raw data, and you enter manually your base station, again, coming from an external source or from PPP, or you post-process it as usual. And this is the most complex situation where you have your drone, you have your base station, you have your reference station, and you will process reference to base, base to drone, and eventually you get your accurate geotag. Just a small illustration for the example that I used for this session, just to give you an idea. So we talk about the course. The course is as it says, as the name is saying, it's continuously operating. So it's probably 24 hours. So you can use it at any time. Then you may have some VRS at some moment available for a while, or because it's expensive, or because you don't have enough bandwidth, or whatever. You have a bit of VRS. And you have your GeoBase that starts before the first flight has begun, and after the second flight, or the last flight of the day. So what is interesting is your GeoBase. It's the thing that will start first. Then you prepare your drone. Then you have everything ready. You check your wings. You check your propeller. You check your flight plan. You check the weather. And then you launch your drone, and you have your BB3 starting. You do your first flight. You land. You change battery. You do whatever is needed, and you have your second flight. Your in my case, my number 135, and you do your second flight. Then you finish, and you pack your drone, and when everything is really done, you pack your GeoBase. So you will have this overlap. I mean, the course will overlap the GeoBase. GeoBase will overlap the BB3, and every time it overlaps, it means it's possible to do some post-processing in eMotion. But just be aware of that. I mean, you have the course, you have the VRS, you have the GeoBase, and you have the BB3, and you have to combine it in the right way. So there are plenty of possibilities. I could mention here, I could go from course to drone immediately. I could go from VRS to GeoBase to define my GeoBase, and so on and so on. There are all kinds of possibilities in this situation. Last item for today is something that is quite new, for senseFly, is the use of the PPP, the precise point positioning. What is this mode? I mean, it has nothing to do with kinematic. I mean, there is no K in the acronym. So it's static, it's standalone, and it's global. So it's completely different from PPK or RTK, because here we are static, not kinematic. We are standalone, we are not differential, and we are global. We are not in a limited area. There are a lot of several free services, and you can choose. We won't make the recommendation, honestly, unless you ask for it. But we won't feature one or the other. They are all really good. They are all free, to my knowledge. You have to register, but what is you have a bit of description on in the my senseFly knowledge base. If you just today, if you just do a search with PPP, or just with PPP, you will find this article quite easily, or you have the link here. But here, yes, it goes to my senseFly. What is interesting is the only thing that you need is a Rhinex file that is long enough. Long enough means at least 30 minutes, but 1 hour or more than 1 hour is ideal. And you just provide this file out of your GeoBase, and any of the service will provide or will compute your position, and will give you a rather accurate position for your base station. It's not centimetric. Don't be fooled. I mean, it's not centimeter accuracy or few inch or inch accurate, but it's very useful. I mean, it's sub-meter, clearly sub-meter, and it's available anywhere in the world. So again, It's an alternative when you have no idea where your base station was. You can always use this precise point positioning. Again, it's static. It means ideally 1 hour or more of data. 45 minutes will work quite well, but honestly, to do this static, you need to be here for a long duration, so an hour. It's standalone, so there is no need to have a reference station, to have a second base station linked here. If you have it, then you do your PPK, of course. So static, standalone, and it's global. You can do it anywhere. It's something that was requested and was needed to go anywhere with your system. And now with your senseFly GeoBase, your eBee Plus, and your computer, you're ready to handle any situation in the world with accurate geotagging. Thank you very much, and have a great day or evening. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Francois, for all these explanations, and thank you, everyone, for joining this session. See you next time. Bye.